Hi, I'm Parth Bhatia, and since we have had a solid discussion on the cruise industry, my team and I have decided to cover a topic unheard of, and this is about the mistreatment of employees in the cruise industry. I want to start us off by asking everyone a simple question. How many of y'all have been on a cruise? To those who have been, do you all remember the ever smiling and highly energetic cruise ship employees, always ready to help you on your command? Well, I got this experience when I was 14. Along with my family, I resided on a Disney cruise ship for 12 long days. It took us to places in the Caribbean with a fun load of activities on board. But did I ever imagine having a negative experience on the magical kingdom at sea? No, I really didn't. But I got this negative experience after bonding with with the employees at sea, who stated the many problems they have been facing and their desire to ditch their contracts and leave the industry altogether. The high level of dissatisfaction among employees is due to several factors and is reflected through the high turnover rate in the industry. A major factor of employee dissatisfaction, and this actually came up as a shock to me, is sexual harassment. In 2018, out of the 92 crimes committed at sea, 62 were related to sexual assault and harassment. That is, about 70% of the reported crimes were related to sexual assault and sexual harassment. And all of these cases were reported by ex-employees who were not able to complain back then because of the airtight contracts, but now have come forward to take some action. We all know that managing a cruise involves high complexity. However, employees have claimed that rather than encouraging productivity through respect, managers are seen to have aggressive behavior and rampant favoritism. Cruise ship employees have started a tradition: money and sex for power. Stories of money being passed around from one hand to another have come forward in interviews. Moreover, men in position of authority have used their power to demand for sexual favors. The industry has had a history of cases of sexual assault. In 1999, Carnival Cruises admitted to 100 such cases on their ships but never took any action. This abuse of authority by the onboard managers and no actions taken by the higher superiors has led to a permanent sexualized environment among the employees on board. There are several factors that encourage this behavior by managers, like the absence of immediate law enforcement. Onboard jurisdiction is very complicated because, unlike other industries like the airline industry, most cruise line companies are based out in countries like Panama and the Bahamas, where labor laws are neglected. Employees are no longer protected by the US labor laws, and these countries investigate such cases rarely, giving dirty managers the confidence to continue this behavior. Well, there are several other factors that lead to employee dissatisfaction, and Yamming would also discuss one of them.
Hi everyone, as is known to all, the case of Princess Cruise Diamond Princess ship made headlines after it was put under quarantine by the Japanese health authorities earlier in February. This resulted in over 700 people get infected by the coronavirus and at least 14 people died, including at least 33 crew members have been infected. Even during this outbreak time, the crew member will still wearing facial mask and gloves to stop at the occupied rooms, greeting the passengers and delivering meals before moving on to the next desk. The crew member have been the only lifeline for the passengers. They delivering food, water, medications, and towels, and anything else the passengers request. They have basically been told they need to take care of all those potential sick people, said by a 43 years old customer in this cruise ship. They are kind of unsung hero here, but will 2,600 some passengers on the board enjoy the free internet, streaming TV shows and movies, and playing the games provided by the cruise ship. The crew member, mostly from the Philippines and other developed nations, have continued work. Those food delivery duties are up before 6 a.m. to serve breakfast, to work through as late as 10 p.m. for the end of dinner service. They are doing it at risk to their own health. Crew members aboard the Diamond Princess aren't afforded many same protection as the passengers serve. They live on the decks before the sea level, working with one or two other people and sharing a toilet with them. They dine in the shift at the mess hall, where the cafeteria table set up to 12 people. Moreover, some crew members describe the distance for food as a logistical issue. Many ships employ crew members from around the world. The food served in the crew cafeteria can reflect the variety, making it difficult for some food similar to what they would eat at home on a constant bias. Also, some crew members reflect the poor quality of the food, such as the chicken with a rubber texture. For the cruise member, the crew company should give more protection than the passengers, not just minimize the contact between employees and customers in the cramped cabin. At the same time, the cruise company should systematically train all employees to strengthen the effective cleaning procedures, comply with the highest standard of health and hygiene, and set up better working and living conditions for the crew member. Cruise company should actively provide the crew member with independent kitchen, dining room, and living rooms. Ensure the food quality of the crew member, reduce the working hour to ensure adequate rest, and provide enough masks, gloves, and other protective products to promote the safety of the crew member.
As everyone knows, under a special situation of pandemic, international airlines and cruise are largely restricted. The amount of airline decreased steeply, and the cruise industry is completely suspended. This caused a price racket, which caused difficulty to many people, including international students on their way home. I'm also one of those students who with similar difficulties. Thus, I try to figure out whether I can go home this summer vacation. During my research, I saw an airline staff member comment on his own social media. After every flight, we have to accept 2 periods of compulsory isolation for 40 days. The working environment is horrible. Every staff member has to wear anti-chemical suits for more than 20 hours during every flight. Of course, eating and drinking must be restricted to the lowest level, while the staff on the cruise industry is far worse. No sale order not only deeply damaged the cruise industry as a whole, but also put the employee on the cruise into a very embarrassing or even dangerous situation. This action directly caused thousands of employees to stay in the environment that COVID-19 can spread very easily. Moreover, nations such as the United States normally would requisition the crews in order to rescue their citizens in other countries who encounter problems caused by pandemic on their way home. In this condition, staff on the ship not only has to face high risk to be affected, but also may be strictly restricted due to the possibility of potential patient after they finish their duty. I'm not able to give advice from aspect of business or management. I also do not want to repeat the basics like keeping the clean working environment to prevent the pandemic. Actually, engineering student, so I try to give some advice from my own perspective. Could it be possible to use online meeting system, online management system instead of real meeting? The manager can make a detailed schedule for every employee on the cruise and assign the tasks for the employees by internet. The schedule must make sure the number of employees in the same place is under a certain amount of time. In this way, the face-to-face contact can be restricted to the lowest level. Additionally, I think it is also a good idea to introduce a cleaning robots to the crews. The robots may not be as effective as human employees, however, by assisting the staff, cleaning robots will largely reduce the workload of employees, or even reduce the amount of employee or crews need to hire, especially during the pandemic period. Since there is no customer on the cruise, the cleaning standard may be not as strict as usual, so that the robot can completely take care. In the introduction course of hospitality, I've learned that a good hospitality industry is supposed to convey hospitableness to customers, based on my humble opinion. I don't think employees who have deeply restricted still have the ability to convey the hospitableness. if both their welfare but also their life will be damaged. Thus, I believe it is necessary to increase employees' welfare and reduce the risk during their working environment.